live. We are live. And we do have a special guest. Coach Defense.
He's back. He's back.
He's back.
He's back, baby.
He's back.
Far too long. I miss my bros.
Yes.
I felt like I'm the adopted, I'd be the fourth brother. I'd be the fourth brother, yes.
That's right.
I'm glad to be back on the Bo Bros podcast, man. It's great to be back, man. I'm loving to get with you guys and talk about football today. Let's get going. Let's go to it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
It's going to be exciting. This is going to be a good episode, guys. I know James is still having entirely too much fun. I think he's in Venice right now. So, nobody feels sorry for James at this moment, right? He, don't even kind of feel sorry for him at this moment. He's having a great time. But we got Coach today talking about Chargers football, and we're going to talk about free agency, and we're going to talk about players we've signed. We're going to talk about players we could potentially sign. And then maybe there's going to be, how are we going to spend this $60-some million we have left over right now, guys? What are we going to do with this money, guys? Because I promise you, they're not going to just let it sit there. They're going to do something with it. So I think there's some players that are on this roster right now that they might want to extend. So we'll talk more about that and have some conversation with you guys. So, guys, we ready to get into it?
Let's get it.
Okay. Bo Bros.
Let's go.
Sam Pittman here, man. You watching the Bo Bros podcast. Stay tuned.
Charter blue dreams, stadium lights gleam. Both bros on the beat, leave stream. Chargers rocking speeds, Sonic supreme. From the podcast to the field, we're a team. Charged up, both bros on the night. LA Thunder in electric delight. Bullets in the battle, sparking bright. Charged up, ride the lightning, feel the fright.
Awesome. So it is exciting times, and I'll tell you right now, guys, I like free agency. I think it's been amazing. Again, I've talked much about my opinion and Kyle's opinion about free agency so far. Coach, you are a special guest. What are your thoughts on free agency so far? What grade would you give it? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, G minus? I don't even. You can't even give that a grade, but you get what I'm saying.
A G minus.
What's it? G minus.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll stay on the scale that we've all grew up on in getting grades. I'm going to go with a D plus.
D plus, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to D plus. Again, we knew what the glaring issues were. We knew what the elephant in the room was that we had to address, and we danced around all of that and did mediocre things in that positional area and got other things done. I won Khalil back. That was great. I understood why we let Adafe Owe go with the $25 million a year for a designated pass rusher. I get all that.
Yeah.
Alec Ingold was good. Tyler Biadasz was my third choice out of the centers that were going to be available once he got cut from the Commanders. I'm okay with that, but his left and his right side needs to be addressed. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It needs to be addressed in a glowing way. We've struggled with that, and that's killed our potential for the last 2 years. And it's got to be more aggressively addressed, in my opinion. So that's why I gave it a D at this point. Now, if they did go out and get a serviceable guard of some stretch, we'll talk about that in a little bit probably, but I'll probably raise it up a little. But we need at least one. We go get one and go get one in the draft, I'm okay with it. But starting 2 rookies outside at guard, that's just risky. It's risky because you don't know exactly how these guys are going to perform. The learning curve to the pros is a steep one. So you can't rely on 2 rookies to hit, to be able to, fulfill the prophecy of getting us to a Super Bowl. So that's where I land with it.
Yeah, and I know Kyle and I have talked about it. Kyle, I can't remember what your grade was. What was your grade so far?
I think I said B minus at the moment. But that was also because yeah. We're grading by a curve here. So I think it was because I'm thinking that there was some kind of secret genius plan behind this whole thing where we're going out for value and volume as opposed to just going out to getting those big splashy plays like the Ray Turds did, So
guaranteed money too, by the way. Guaranteed money.
Guaranteed. Yeah.
Ridiculous guaranteed money. You're like, oh my God.
But like that whole thought, it's like, okay, we have a couple of weeks going on here. We're not seeing much else right now. So I'm now dropping him down this week to a C. So because he did fill some holes, but hey, they're not all the holes that we need to be filled are actually being addressed properly. And a lot of people are getting off the board. And this is all right, I'm dropping him dropping it a little bit here. Yeah.
And Roberts, we are going to talk about this. Need more butt and gut on the O-line. Exactly. It is exactly true. And again, I give it a B+ or B- C+. Andrew's pineapple shirt, A+. Thank you, Grandizer. I appreciate that. What's up now? Thank you. You know, I got style. I'm the most stylish of the Bowl Pros. That's for sure. I mean, that's not even a conversation. You know what I mean? And Margarita agrees with me. Thank you so much, Margarita. So, Coach, just for records, I gave it a B+. Now I gave it a B+, and I'll tell you why. I know these are not splashy signings. They are not. They are definitely not. They're very, I would say, middle line to just getting a player, right? But my thought is that really with Mike McDaniel coming in, the offense that we're going to be running, it works with them. Again, like Cole Strange was in his offense last year. He did fine. He only gave up 2 sacks. I think Trevor Penning is good at the run game. He's pretty good, not great at pass defense. Okay, but Biadasz, amazing. So I think we kind of took care of the offensive line. And I say the word kind of, but I do still think we're going to sign a couple more veterans and then probably get some more people in the draft as well. Competitors welcome. I do think you're probably happy with Ben Cleveland. He's on our practice squad. And then we also have our rookie that we signed last year, Taylor Branson. You know, I think it's going to be competitors welcome. And I think they're going to rotate a lot of these players in and out too. So, and I really think this offensive line in the linemen in the draft, there's a lot of guards and tackles and guards. Like there's a lot of mix and matches that you can do on that. So I'm very curious how it plays out. That's why I gave it a B+. I also think that overall, and the guys in the chat, let me know what you guys think about this. I do think this coaching staff is happy with the players they have. So it's more just we want to get our people back, and then we want to add a few splashy players here and there. But to everyone's point, I get it. And to your point, Coach, we really haven't made any splashy plays, right? We've gotten decent players, but nothing really exciting for fans. So it can be viewed as a little disappointing. So I understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the immediate expectations with the money we've had, I guess we all had glowing expectations with $100 million in cap. I mean, we fought with the Raiders and the Titans for the most cap space going into the free agency period. Yeah. I think that again, doing the obvious, center when Bozeman retired, the obvious center move was one thing. But again, at least get one guard, and then you can address some more flashier or best of player available type of moves, because everybody's harping on the idea that we might get Kenyon Sadiq with our pick in the 22nd overall area. But again, you need a guard before you do that. You can't get them the ball if you can't get passes off. So I would say that if you find 2 guards in free agency along with the center and completely solidify the line, then you can go BP at the edge rusher or a freak of nature tight end like Sadiq. But again, you can't put the cart before the horse, in my opinion. I think that's where they're going wrong at this moment. So if they do one thing right, is sign one guard that's still out there, then maybe we're cooking with gas. But
that's a good point. And by the way, I like Kenyon Sadiq. It's so funny. Every time I think about him, I was going to do a video on him last week and probably do it next week. Just a short video. I would love it if we got him. I mean, Mike McDaniel would be salivating having that guy on our roster. He's he's just crazy. By the way, I think I just updated over the cap. We are showing now $48 million in cap space. So we are chewing through the cap space a little bit here as well too. Competitors welcome. I think that's the general theme. And I think the thought is, hey, look, like we're okay letting, I don't think they wanted to lose Odafe Owe, but I don't think they also want to pay him $25 million. That's a lot of money, but, and also I think also someone like Zion Johnson was getting more money than I think we were going to pay him, or at least we wanted to pay him as well too. So, okay. So let's talk about some good news. So we did sign someone this week, a fan favorite, someone that really everyone loves, and his name is Tony Jefferson. How do we feel? By the way, how do we in the chat? How do we feel about this signing? Only $2 million, guys. Only $2 million. Yeah. Now we all know is an elder statesman. I think he's 33 years old. What are your thoughts on getting signed with the Chargers? Coach, you're our guest. What are your thoughts about this?
Oh, I absolutely love it. I was actually crashing out on every Twitter account that I own about the fact that they hadn't re-signed him, and they were haggling over because he was tweeting. He was saying they were haggling over guaranteed money. I'm like, what are we talking about here? And I'm sure he didn't want to break the bank. And he said that. I said, I don't want to break the bank. I just want my guarantees. Yeah. And I was like, we're haggling over $2 million. I'm not sure, if y'all familiar with the Federation on Twitter. I think y'all know Fred, right? Y'all know Fred?
I don't think so. No.
Okay, yeah, well, he's a big Chargers fan. He's a pretty decent following in the Chargers Twitter community, and him and I go back and forth. We're like, what are we doing here? Like, it's just insane that he should have been signed day one for $2 million. That's you write that check and you just keep moving. I don't get it. I'm glad he's back though. That was a great ad. I think that having Chris O'Leary as our coordinator, with him being a very, very well-renowned safety developer. I think Tony's going to love being there. I think RJ's going to develop to a better player with Chris being there. Yep. Derwin, clearly Elijah Molden. I think our safety room was one of the best, in my opinion, with that type of coaching and that type of defense being ran. I love the unit, man. I can't say nothing but good things about this particular signing.
Yeah,
I'm a huge fan as well too. Kyle, what are your thoughts on Tony?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm happy, 100% happy to hear that he's coming back. So I don't know. We don't know exactly the details of his guarantees are, but obviously that was a big point of his to get signed. So is it 75% guaranteed or more? We'll find out though, probably this upcoming week when we get some updates and stuff. But just want to share also that he is running a giveaway. He has like 10 game day jerseys or full on like the highest quality jerseys available. He bought like 10 of them and he's just giving them away as a celebration of his getting re-signed. So I think you can sign up with it on his Twitter page. He has a link and just add them on all your socials and stuff, and you'll be able to have a chance for winning it. Yeah,
that's awesome. And by the way, like Unca's a locker room guy too. In my whole thing again, why I give this a B+ with everybody. And I give this an A. I'm glad he's back. To your point, Coach, we have a great safety room. So we're probably. It's funny. I see these mock drafts that keep saying we need safety. It's like I think we're probably pretty good. Like I think we're good. I'll just say this: Unca's a good locker room guy. He's a good leader, and that's And I think RJ Mickens is not 100% ready to take that next step. He needs probably one more year. So this is probably a 1-year deal, period. And I don't know that we sign him after this season, which we'll see how it plays out. But who knows? Maybe we sign him another year. Who knows? But man, I'm telling you, getting a guy like this back is good. And again, I think about all the other people that we signed, right? We signed, oh my gosh, with Josh Harris, long snapper, Pro Bowler. Oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank? Delshon Phillips, there we go, special teamer, ace. So these aren't sexy signings, but these are signings to get our team where it needs to be moving forward. Now we need to fill in the gaps. Like I always think of it like we had our main course, we're getting our main course signed, our team back, and then now we need players to fill in the gaps in our stomach, right? To make it a perfect meal, right? And I just think the draft is going to help with that. I think release players. There's going to be a second wave of players that are going to be cut because of salary cap. Like, we don't really like this guy. We want to let him go. We can sign those players as well too. And clearly Joe Hortiz wants to keep those comp picks. Right now it's looking like we might get a third or a fourth for Odafe Owe, which is pretty amazing. So they want to keep that moving forward. So it's pretty interesting. So yeah. But I love Tony, guys. And what did everyone give him? Okay, I'm seeing a B. Seeing some of these other rankings for signing Tony, but it's exciting. So got to have the glue, guys. That's perfect. It's exactly right. So,
yeah, I like that.
So
I'm gonna say A- for Tony Jefferson, just because they didn't do it earlier.
I share that sentiment. Sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, right? This is probably where we're getting a little tight on him, and like, why not just give him some money? But who knows? Maybe it was asked. Maybe his guy was, maybe his agent was asking for $4 million, $5 million. I mean, by the way, it was his best year ever. Just so you guys know, statistically speaking, his best year. So, even at his age, he was playing at a high level. So, all right. So let's talk about some players on this team that we might want to give some of this money to. Right. So. And $100 million can go pretty fast, guys. It's kind of interesting when you start really thinking about it. So first one is my guy that we've got to sign. So everyone's saying A. I'm seeing Spicoli, A. Here we go. Now, this one I think is big, and we can have a lot of conversations on this. Now, there's really 4 players that I think are on this team that we could extend or potentially give some of this money to. I don't think all 4 will be extended. I think we might get a contract for 1 or 2, but I think some of this money might be saved for these folks and maybe 1 or 2 more splashy players moving forward. I do still think we are going to go out for guard. We're going to talk a few more people we could grab in free agency right now. But on our team currently right now, one guy that I think could happen is Derwin James. I think there's an opportunity that he could get re-signed. Now, the numbers are a little bit all over the map, but you want to lock up Derwin James. He's the quarterback of the defense. Harbaugh loves him. We got to get him locked up. And you do not want him entering the free market at this point. People will go after him pretty hard, especially with the salary cap moving up. I mean, moved up almost $30 million this year. So, it's one of those situations. But Derwin James, there is rumors that he is going to be extended. So, Coach, what are your thoughts on that? And then we'll go to Kyle.
Absolutely a no-brainer. You can't let a multi-time all-pro slot corner / safety walk out the door. I mean, a multifaceted hybrid player. He does not grow on trees, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So you definitely pay what you need to pay and keep him in the building because, again, the Swiss Army knife that he is, you can't replicate that. And he is the prototype of what Chris O'Leary develops. Your Kyle Hamiltons, your Xavier Watson, he's developed while you were in college. Those guys, those hybrid guys where you can play in a slot, you can play at the line of scrimmage, you can play deep. You definitely have to have that type of Swiss Army knife in your defense in order to run your schemes. So again, he's still playing at all-pro level, even at the crest of 30. I believe that you have to just do it, give him a 2 to 3 year deal, and see how that pans out, and then address it year to year after that. But yeah, I would sign him today and sleep well.
Kyle, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we got to make it happen right now. I mean, if we extend him, that will likely be his final contract, his final situation that he has with the NFL. Because I mean, he ain't no spring chicken. I mean, I admit, just like a coach said, I mean, you don't let guys like him leave the building. You lock him into the locker room and bar the doors. Nope, you seal him up. Get a plasma torch, and it's no, he can't leave this building. No, for sure. Yeah, man. But guys, I mean, we have to keep him. I mean, it would be an awful day in Chargers history that if we let him go. It's much like if we let LT go, play his last couple of years at the Jets.
Oh, yeah, that sucks so bad. I agree 100%.
Even the same with letting Philly Riv go over to the Colts. We can't keep letting that happen. So we need to make it sure that we keep this guy here. So yeah.
Al's triggering me right now. I'm having PTSD.
Oh, sorry, bro.
yeah, it's true. And then seeing Philly River come back and play for the Colts
again
last year just broke my heart.
And I was the same year that he retired as a Charger too. It's what?
Yeah, what are we doing?
Yeah. And there's just so much to be said about that. So, and look, DJ is a special player, right? And again, he is the quarterback. He's Justin Herbert for the defense. That's what he is. So you cannot let Hugo Boss said, dude, I cried when LT was like, oh, me too. Dude, I love, LT. I love Rivers too. So, again, unfortunately, teams have to make, difficult decisions. But right now, you want to lock up Derwin James. Get him a contract right now that's team friendly. The good thing is too, even next season, we could restructure Herbert's contract, right? So we could free up more money next year. So this is why it's important to do this potentially this year. And I think this is partially why we haven't signed a lot of players, because they wanted to lock in some of these players that we're going to talk about today. So again, I understand it's not sexy. There are some people that I'm going to talk about in this list also that we could potentially still go after. And we'll see how that plays out as well too. But I think Derwin James is a must. We've got to get this one done. So I think this will happen. And this is going to go, in my opinion, in importance. Actually, I would say this one and the next one are probably the number two, both important. I'd say equally. And Tuli Tuipulotu, guys, is the next one that we have got to lock him down, guys. I mean, look, I know everyone thinks we got all this money, right? Again, you're seeing how fast it's drying up. We're down to $48 million. Guys, Tuli, you saw how much money Adalfeoe made. Tuli had a better season than him for the team. And so I don't know how that's going to play out, guys, right? But if he has another year like that, dude, he could set the market again, right? So, Coach, what are your thoughts on Tuli? And then Kyle, we'll go to you.
That's exactly. I'm gonna piggyback off what you just said, Andy. It's you do it now because yesterday's price that's gonna be tomorrow's price. If he has another Pro Bowl like season this year coming up, the price is gonna be even higher. So you do the deal now. It's not gonna count on the books till 2027, because his contract is up after this year. So yes, because he's not a first round pick, so you don't have a 5th-year option. So you do it now, get it done, and again, you set the market bearing, somewhere in, towards the top. I'm not giving him Myles Garrett money. That's kind of crazy. But he didn't set the single season sack leader, but he's been our sack leader for the last 2 years. The sack numbers have gone up every year he's been with us. Yes. So you have to get it done. You can't take a step backwards by letting him walk or try to play the franchise tag game or whatever you want to do. You do it now because again, it's going to be more expensive the longer you wait. The edge rusher position, the tackle position, the quarterback position, the price is always going up and up and up. So you got to do it now.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you look at what the price tag is for good edge rushers these days, and every single year it goes up. Like, it's higher than the stock market. I'll tell you that much. It goes 25% every single year, because like every player who gets new signed, it's going to set the bar up every single time, just going up and up. So yeah, lock them down, get that deal in place now, get those numbers out there, hash them out, because we didn't make some moves now before it gets too bad.
Guys, and his numbers are crazy, right? Pro Bowl. He been to the Pro Bowl last year. Wasn't he an alternate?
I think so. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was. So 13 sacks, 20 tackle for loss, Pro Bowl level in 2025. He's just going to get bigger and better. Projected, guys, right now, just so you know, right now he's still projected $25 to $30 million. Now, and part of maybe what they do is they give him some guaranteed money. Hey, here's $10 million we'll give you right now. They can move the money around, right? That's what I'm getting at is you can make the dollars work, restructure Herbert's contract. You're robbing Peter to play Paul. More money is going to come in next year and go from there. So, but Tuli's going to ask for more money. Now, again, someone made a good comment right here. Oh, Robert, here we go. He said, Akeem Mesidor. I love that pick at 22. He should be there at 22. I'm assuming.
I don't know.
So what do you think, Coach? Because I'm telling you, I think most of the mock drafts I've seen, he's always there. Now, again, if Vega's there, you run that pick in, you're done, right? Or maybe Fano, if he's there, you run that pick in. But Akeem Mesidor, man, if he's there,
don't get me confused. I mocked Akeem Mesidor about 5 or 6 times on my pod early, thinking that we get 2 guards in free agency, so we wouldn't have or get at least 1 guard in free agency. That means we would be able to spend a second rounder on a subsidiary guard. So I would say that you would get an edge in the first, do a guard in the second, and do BPA third. However, now we don't have technically any, I guess you can say, start-worthy guards at our wake, right, at our disposal. So I was thinking now you have to do 2 interior O-line with the first 2 picks. So I'm kind of moving off the idea of driving the edge, although that's what I want to do, because you have to look at it from a perspective of future. Because Khalil's not going to be around for much longer. I mean, this could be his last year. We need 1 more year out of him if we're lucky, but you got to plan for the future. And this edge rushing class is one of the best I've seen in quite some time.
It's amazing.
So if they manage to sign it, because I'm sure we're going to talk about in a minute about who they should sign at guard that's still in free agency, but if they do that, then yes, we could spend a first round pick on an edge rusher, and I would do that. If Akeem is there, I'm sleeping well tonight. I'm just gonna turn the TV off at 22. I'm not gonna watch the rest of the draft. I'm gonna go take a nap because it's gonna be a good day for the Chargers fans. But it gotta happen. And a lot of mocks I've seen, because more edge rushers are pushing up the draft higher, because picks are moving around, first rounds are moving around. Akeem's gone by the time 20 hits now. So that's the only question. If he's there at 22, absolutely. But this is the question of him being there at this moment.
Yeah, so I mean, just so Dan Jeremiah still has Vega there at 22, and then Kuiper has Peter Woods from Clemson. He's amazing too, defensive tackle. He's incredible. And then Fano.
Do you do a tackle in the first round though?
Well, see, so Fano can play tackle or guard, so they might move him into guard.
There you go.
I was talking about Peter Woods.
Oh, Peter Woods. Yeah, see, and again, that's kind of why I was like, I don't know about that, because I think you can move him down. Plus, we also did sign Tomlinson, which I kind of feel like you can, like, for me, pick one. If we stick and pick a 22, we're going to go with an edge rusher or a guard, right? That's what I think.
Yeah, I'm with that. That's the only 2 options in my book.
100%, right? And that's just, and again, I think they would probably lean towards guard or a guard tackle combination. Because remember, again, everyone rips on Penning, but Penning can play guard or tackle, right? Regardless of what you think about that, it's at least a value that he could play both positions, right? So that's a good thing. So, but again, like TJ Parker from Clemson's also another person people talk about, or Derek Moore potentially in the second round, edge rusher. So I think it's going to go guard, edge, or edge guard, one of the two, depending on who's there and who's has, the highest, rating internally, right? Because remember, all teams don't have a first round grade, right? They might say, shit, like if I could trade back and get another third or swap my third and fourth and get a second or whatever, they might do it and say, all right, we're going to take a couple more bites of the apples in the second round. So we'll see what happens. But 22 is a hard position because a lot of people don't have a lot of first round grades at 22. They have maybe 18 total max. So it's going to be interesting. So we'll see how that plays. Okay. So enough of the draft. We're going to talk more about that next week, because the draft is about a month away, but let's talk about free agency. One other person that I think does deserve an extension that a lot of people are not talking about, but I talked about, I think last week, potentially. I don't remember if I did or not, but anyways, mentally, I thought I talked about it, but is Deion Henley, guys.
Yes, sir.
I'm a fan of this. Lock him in. And again, he should have been, I cannot remember. I'm having a mild stroke. Was he he was a Pro Bowl alternate, or did he make the Pro Bowl last year? I cannot remember. I don't think he made it, did he?
He didn't, but with the numbers he had, he should have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
been snubbed a couple times already.
That's right. He's been snubbed twice.
Yes.
So, and here's the thing too. If you've noticed, no, go ahead, Coach. I want to hear your thoughts first, and then go Kyle, and then we'll come back to me.
Listen, as a former linebacker in the college, I listen. I love Deion Henley. I can't say nothing about him. The only thing I was concerned about who they were pairing him with to play inside, because he needs a buddy, he needs a running mate, and they got Denzel Perryman back. But yes, absolutely, positively, you definitely just another one. And I agree with you, Andy, about your point earlier that they might have been saving a few dollars, in the future to kind of load up on the idea of re-signing all three of these guys, because we need all three of them back, in my opinion. And it's a no-brainer. You're looking at every level of our defense. You're talking about edge, middle, in the linebacker room, in the safety room. All three of those are core guys in every room in the Chargers facility. So you get your captains signed up, and then you build around them from there. That's what you have from a defense perspective. So yes, absolutely positively sign Deion today. Get that done, because again, who knows what shining linebacker is going to come up and get another payday before he does if you don't sign him now. So again, get it done. Give him his guarantees. Keep his cap number kind of low for the first couple of years. I always hearken to the Jalen Hurts contract. They literally had Jalen Hurts contract at a low bar for the first 3 years of it, and that's a quarterback. We're talking about $10 to $15 million as a quarterback. So if you do something like that and keep the cap number low, keep it flexible, so we can spend money elsewhere, I would definitely do it right now and today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Kyle, thoughts on Deion?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's still this is his third year now with the team, so I don't think that it's really necessarily a conversation this year, but we got to be having that, that thought process right now. So 100% for next year, it's going to be written down.
This is the last year. This is fourth year. He's going into his fourth year.
This is his fourth year. Okay, sorry, I was wrong.
He was Tuli drafted the same year.
Okay.
Last year, that whole thing. Yeah.
That's old Ron Tabasco and BS.
There you go.
Let's not say those who will not be named, right? Here we go.
Yeah.
I like that.
I don't like talking about booty stank that much.
Booty stank. We don't like no booty stank.
Yeah.
Right. They did give us a part of giving away out. They did give us Tuli and Deion, so we know we'll leave them be.
Right.
We won't throw someone's dirt in their grave.
Exactly. Well, I mean, we need Deion, for sure. Like you said, he's a locker room guy. He just freaking works really well out there. Like I said, and he just keeps getting snubbed, man. Like, he needs to get on that Pro Bowl. Like, I mean, he's one of those tone setters actually in that linebacker room. I mean, honestly, like, maybe we're a little biased too, because we had him on our show that a couple of years ago. And that was just awesome to experience.
Such a cool dude.
Chat with him. Yeah. So, but yeah, we got to keep this thing going, man. Just come on, keep running it back here.
Mm-hmm.
So, look, I think the interesting thing I would say about this year's draft, a lot of linebackers look like they might go in the first round. Remember, a big reason why you take a first round talent is because you don't want to pay that person high dollars at all, right? You say, no, I want this wide receiver or this tackle or this quarterback very cheaply for the next 4 years, and then I can make a decision on what I want to do with them moving forward. Again, that's one thing that's great about football is you can't continue to just hold all these players and just hoard them all together. So the reality is, I think the linebacker market's going to start moving up. Right now, linebackers are not getting paid that much money. I mean, let's see what he even signed for. I think he's he's not hardly anything. He's getting 3.9, so that's a lot of money, but he probably deserves maybe at least double that, right? So the question is, do you give him that now? What if he hits Pro Bowl next year? Then guess what? He's going to be worth even more money. But you lock him into a 3 or 4 year contract, we're going to be good for quite some time with him, right? So you start seeing some of these names coming in the draft, like Sonny Styles, some of these other people that they're mocked to go super high. And who knows how that's going to play out, right? So I just think that with Deion, he might be that guy that you want to lock up, and you could probably lock him up fairly cheap. So that's kind of why I think, he would be a good one to lock up. So
for sure. Just my
take on that. Okay, so let's talk about one other player here as well too that I thought, this one's going to be controversial, guys. Okay, let me set the tone on this one real quick for just a second. Oh, we lost Coach. His connection must have been gone here, so looks like he'll probably hop back on here in a sec.
Yeah.
So it must have a internet connection problem. This next person is controversial, but guys, this market consistently is getting higher, and more expensive. And the numbers are looking more and more crazy for this player. So the question is, are we going to extend this person? New contract, yes or no? I'm very curious to hear what everyone thinks about this. A lot of people might not want to continue listening to us at this point when I show this name, but I think it is important to have this conversation. Oh, there we go, Coach. We lost you, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It just froze on me. I don't know what happened.
It's always frustrating. So we haven't showed our next person we want to talk, and then Spicoli just gave us a super chat for $2. Why is Slater so fragile? Good question.
What the elephant in the room, right?
Yeah, I know. I mean, and again, he derailed our entire last season for sure, but unfortunately, it's not like he planned on it. But
right.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, it was such a fluke incident, right? What happened?
Mm-hmm.
James happened to be there. He just twisted his knee in a bad way. So
yeah, anyways. I don't think it had anything to do with him. I think it has a lot more to do with the curse.
The curse.
Yeah.
Oh, so some of you guys have already talked about this, and this is great. Andrew's choice of women is controversial. Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. Ouch! Here we go. So, and you guys have all selected it and picked it. It's Quentin Johnston. So, are we going to extend Quentin Johnston, Coach? What are your guys? The numbers are 18 to 20 million right now. 18 to 20 million. So I want to hear, because here's my point, guys. Before I pass the Coach, what do you guys think about this? Yes, no, maybe so. Coach, what are your thoughts?
I'm a little leery about this one because it's inconsistency.
Right.
Like pay him, top of the market, but pay him really good money. I'm hoping you're not talking like, Alec Pierce number, because I don't see how Alec Pierce got the money he got. But
I was kind of shocked on that too, bro.
I don't get that one at all. And then they traded their number one away to Pittsburgh. Weird. But,
even crazier. Yep.
Yeah. What are we doing at wide receiver? Like, it's a lot of uncertainty in the room. And you have to look at it from a perspective. Do you exercise this 5th year option and then kind of see? I would probably lean more towards doing that. I think he earned that right based on his production last year to get the 5th year option enabled. So we kind of give us a sample size for the next couple of years, kind of give us some wiggle room. But the idea of paying him right now, I wouldn't do it. In all honesty, I need to see a little more from him in all honesty, because he's starting to improve. I think, but you have to be, especially when he was drafted at, because we did a pod together when we did it real time. We drafted, we were all on that live together. We saw it, and we were all disgusted by the fact that Jefferson went ahead, pick ahead of him, and we got him at the pick we got. So yeah, I would do the 5th year option to see. I wouldn't pay him right now. I have to see more. You have to prove to me that you're a number one receiver before that I give you, 18, 20, $25 million a year. I can't sleep well knowing that he's getting that kind of money with the production he's giving us.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Well said, Coach.
The biggest thing for me is that so they have until I believe May to make that decision for him.
Early May.
So, right. They may have the ability to get somebody in the draft that they can replace Quentin Johnston with too. I mean, obviously, he's got the stain of the booty stank draft pick for him though. So that's kind of like, is he really the guy for McDaniel or Harbaugh and stuff like that? So that's a big question that comes into play right here. But I will say this, like, if you do the 5th year option, so $18 million sounds like a lot. But if you don't do the 5th year option, it's going to be doubled that every year. So if we did want to keep him, then we're talking about $36 million a year just to keep Quentin Johnston around. Like, I don't know if we're going to pay him that anyways, though, too. So that means that we could just see an earlier exit from Quentin Johnston. But my biggest thing is that every single year he's been improving. So it's like, should we give him another extra year to improve with us? I don't know.
Yeah, and Larry brings up a good point. Talk about those drop passes with Ladd. Yeah, Ladd had quite a few drop passes last year as well too. So, so look, I think sometimes you're also talking about a wide receiver room that's crowded, right? The other conversation is, do we bring Keenan Allen back, right?
Yes.
So I love Keenan, but I'll say this: you just got to wonder. The other thing I would say too. We are so comp pick focused. Quentin Johnston would at least give you a 4th round pick, right? Yeah. If you think you can maybe draft a wide receiver in the 5th or 6th round, who knows? Maybe some guy you think is going to work out well. Maybe give Keandre Lambert-Smith some more snaps, yada, yada, this next season. Don't worry too much about wide receivers, and then he'll sign somewhere else. For big money, we get a big comp pick, right? We lost Odafe Oye, same sort of situation. So I think it's going to be just like a Zion Johnson situation. If we don't give him his 5th year extension, then we're probably going to let him walk next season, right? So it is what it is, right? So we'll see. But I think he's got to earn his stripes. And the one thing, the weird thing that I ask as well too, and then in the chat, what do you think about this? Does he fit in with Mike McDaniel's system? Now,
you stole my question.
Okay, good. No, I want to hear your thoughts, Coach. What are your thoughts?
I was going to ask you, do you? Well, I'm going to make more of a statement. I said I think that the receivers that we have and who we may bring in or draft, it's really going to be dependent on whether or not Mike McDaniel falls in love with you, your skill set.
Yeah, sure.
Does he love Keandre Lambert-Smith over Ladd McConkey? Does he love Trey Harris's skill set over Keenan Allen? Because they share similar styles in a kind of sense. Keandre is more of a slot guy. QJ and Keenan are more outside guys. Trey Harris as well. So it just really matters of who Mike McDaniel loves and who he wants to utilize this offense. So that is the $1 million question about whether or not Quentin Johnston has a future here, and will they either develop or move on from the younger guys that they just drafted. Who knows? That is the question that we don't have the answer to that will determine this. But I think that if you just load up with talent, I'm sure Mike McDaniel just infinite wisdom can figure it out. That's just my opinion on it. But
well said, Kyle. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, that's just it. I mean, I don't know. I'm seeing people in the chat just talking about how because he's improving every single year. I say we do give him another 5th year just because of that. The improvement says a lot to me. And like, he only had 2 drops as one of the stats that I saw last year. So I think that's actually worth it to be like, you know what, let's give him the 5th year option. Decent wide receivers are harder to come by. So let's just make it happen. So maybe that's why we are holding back.
Yeah, and if you think about getting something for him, if he shines, the $18 million is completely transferable to the new team.
Exactly.
You don't take a dead cap hit off that. So if you do exercise the 5th year option, you think about trading him before next season, it all transfers to the new team. So you don't even take a dead cap hit. So it's a complete switch, and you eat no money. So that's a good idea.
That's a great person. Yeah.
Yeah, someone made a good comment about QJ. And I think this here's the thing. Okay, here we go. Alex said this is QJ can give you a 4th round pick now. Now, my question is, if we can get a 4th round pick now, would you trade him? Again, 1st round pick to a 4th round pick, would you trade him? I guess that's my question. In the chat, what do you think? And then, Coach, what's your thoughts?
It depends on who's on the board in the 4th round. Like if there's a receiver, like I'm looking at Jeff Caldwell, is a day 3 guy that's 6'5", runs a 4.3 40. It's a similar, more consistent, contested body catcher, than Quentin Johnston was coming out of college. I don't have as many questions about his ability to catch the football with 2 hands than I did Quentin Johnston coming out of college. So yes, if Jeff Caldwell's on the board and I can trade QJ for 4th, I would do it. I would do it.
You would.
And you can reset it by 4 years. Because again, you would get him in on a 4th round contract, and you got 4 years to develop him, where you got to make the decision now on QJ. So it's kind of one of those things where you kind of hoping that he develops, but you don't know. But I can take a brand new rookie who has more upside necessarily coming out of college to plug and play with him and use him on the outside rather than having QJ and paying him that money now.
That's a good point. Colin, any thoughts on that?
I hate this whole comp pick kind of
Yes, can we talk about that at the end of the show? Because I have a lot to talk about in that space. I did.
It is a little weird, right? It's a little wonky. Like I'm a little shocked that they're saying that they evened out our Zion Johnson and then Cole Strange. That blew me away. Like how does that even itself out? That's crazy. I don't even know why. Makes no sense.
My thought just right now here is just like, I'm never gonna want to trade away a player or just let someone walk just because we can get a comp pick for them. It's like I think that's the most BS kind of thing ever. Like it's just like really. Like, no, I get it. It's better to get something than nothing, but like, we're just letting out players go, and I'll put it like this. Actually, when you're card collecting and you want a certain card or whatever that, you're not going to go out and just randomly just buy a bunch of boxes to look for that card. You're going to spend a lot more money just buying a bunch of boxes and ripping open packs, whatever that. But if you want that Justin Herbert rookie card, you go out and buy that Justin Herbert rookie card as opposed to breaking it a box and stuff like that. So if we have someone like Quentin Johnston, who is improving every single year, who has 16 touchdowns now, who has improved his hands and stuff, so you keep him around for a little bit longer, and just make it work. But that comp pick situation, no, I'm not giving him up for a 4th round pick.
Well, I think that would be a trade. I think they might more looking at it from a trade perspective.
Okay. If they trade him, sure, maybe,
The whole idea of letting him walk for nothing and hoping to get a comp pick back from him is kind of a dice. It's like playing the lottery almost.
Yeah,
it drops per how many free agents you sign, or completely goes away if you sign an equal player. It's a weird formula. So I don't need to play the game. They played it in Baltimore. They still playing in Baltimore, and they're playing it here now with Hortiz being a disciple of that system. I don't like it. Again, how many 3rd or 4th round picks have been impact players, percentage wise? You may have an outlier here or there, but the odds are if you're getting a comp pick and it's going to be the back end of that draft round, you're not going to get a player that you, based upon who you let go. Take Tyler Linderbaum for prime example. Right. You're not going to get another Tyler Linderbaum that comp pick that they're going to get from losing him. They're not. It's not going to happen. So I don't like the formula at all. I'm with Kyle. I don't like the formula at all. It doesn't work to me.
It's a little wonky, but where I do like it in a sense is you're always rotating your team, right? And it does allow other teams that are crappy to be able to pick up players as well too, right? But the argument with the comp picks is you got to hit on your picks, right? If you're not hitting on your picks, you're in trouble, right? Then it's like, oh crap, we're really in trouble at this point. So I think this coaching staff believes that they can pick very well, and we've shown that we've made some good picks even in the 5th and 6th and 7th round as well too. But this is a good point, though. Alex Silva wasn't because Strange was a 1st round pick. That's a good point. Zion and Cole Strange were 1st round picks. So maybe the argument was they were both 1st round picks, so they just wash each other out. I still think it's bullshit because Zion signed for way more money than Cole Strange, right? So like it just made no sense to me. So how that equates is just shocking to me. So we'll see how it plays out. But
I even asked AI to explain it to me, and the AI started with, this is a complicated process before we even got into the definition. How fluid it is to figure out. But it's money. If you sign to equal money contract to a free agent and you from one you lost, and Zion signed for, let's say, signed for 12, and Cole signed for 12, that should cancel it out. But if he didn't sign for 12, that should still get your pick, in my opinion. But I don't know how it works. It's the Matrix. I don't know.
And I think that's part of the issue too. And again, so you brought up Tyler Linderbaum, which I thought was really interesting too. One of the interesting here we go. Let's see what beef about. The comp pick is for players where you never sign back anyways. Ravens couldn't afford, overpay by $9 million per year. So the interesting thing about that as well too. Think about when the Chargers signed Biadasz. They signed him before Linderbaum signed. Because if they would have signed after Linderbaum had signed, I guarantee his agent would have said, "Nah, we're going for $15 million now, or 16 or 17." They would have asked for more money, right? The guy underneath Linderbaum, what was his name? He signed with the Bills. McGovern, yeah. He signed even before Linderbaum as well too. So you got to remember, these players set the market, and then these agents go, "Well, this guy signed for this much. My guy's better. Here's why. You need to pay me," right? So, and this is where like even the guard market is starting to move up, right? Because some of these guards are making pretty good money. I mean, Zion made what, $16 million a year, and guys, he was like an okay guard, right? He was not great. But he wasn't hurt either. So
he was durable. I'll give him that credit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So it is interesting. So plenty to talk about that. So let's talk about some players we might still be able to sign. There were some players that were signed already. And again, if I'm pretty sure these players have not been signed already. I try to do as much information as could. So in the chat, and you guys let me know if they've been signed or not. If they have been signed, we'll move on or whatever. But this is a person I think we could go get. So the first one is Kevin Zeitler. He's on the Titans and could go back to the Lions or the Chargers is what I'm seeing. So Zeitler is one of the people that we could sign for pretty cheap at this point as well too. And the numbers I saw were not that expensive, but I think he would be a very good guard that we could scoop up and have available. So correct me if I'm wrong. He's been signed. I don't think he has at this point. I know Wyatt Teller has been, and everyone was beyond pissed off about him getting signed elsewhere. I think to the Commanders, if I remember correctly.
Wyatt Teller, was it?
Yeah, Wyatt Teller was signed, but Kevin Zeitler, I don't think was signed at this point.
Right. Now, I was trying to confirm where Wyatt Teller signed to. Was it the Commanders?
Yeah,
Chris Paul went back to the Commanders for sure. I do remember that.
Yeah. I think it was. I'm not sure.
No. The Texans signed.
Oh, the Texans. That's what it was.
Okay. Okay, so Zeitler is still available. Yes. The only question is he's 36.
He's 36.
He's 36 years old. That's the only kind of caveat to it. So we're looking at a conversation of how long he's going to play. It might be a 1-year stopgap deal where you either draft a guy in the lower rounds and develop him into Zeitler's role once he's done, but it's not a long-term deal. He's not the 28, 29, 30-year-old guys we were looking at. So that's the only question. Yes, Zeitler was solid last year. I would love to bring him in at least for 1 year if we can get that done. I'm totally in agreement with this ad if we can get it done. I mean, it shouldn't cost him a lot because, again, he's 36. I mean, how much money is he really going to want at 36 years old?
Yeah, exactly. And he played well, but one more year, another bite at the apple. Now, the other thought is he played for the Lions, and it looks like the Lions want him back. So why would he come to the Chargers? Because, hey, he probably still has a home in Detroit, and who knows, right? And friends and family. But it'd be interesting to see if he could be there for us as well, too. And there are still veteran guards, right? There still are, and again, more guards are going to be released. There's other people going to be released at some point, right? We don't want you. We're paying you too much money. They're trying to renegotiate contracts or whatnot. But you're right. It's probably going to be waiting till after the draft because there's usually a second wave of free agents if they don't get the guards they wanted or they don't get the players they want. But I think Zeitler is a guy that could be signed maybe between now and the draft or maybe after the draft as well, too. But again, a good veteran. Kyle, what are your thoughts on Zeitler?
Yeah, he would be good, but it could be easily a Mekhi Becton situation here with him, because like the Chargers apparently don't really do well with like players' injuries, according to Becton, and he could be out there like that where it's just like he's just too old, Call me an ageist if you want, whatever, but I have a hard time with it like that, they can, but don't get me wrong. I mean, hey, getting Khalil Mack out there still, he's balling out like crazy. I don't know too much about Kevin Zeitler, about how good he was with the Lions, or how bad, whatever, like that. But I don't know. It's just when it comes to veteran contracts and stuff like that, sure, let's give him a veteran minimum and see where that goes. Offer. Yeah, that's all I have there.
Let me see. Zeitler is looking like $9 million is what they're saying right now.
That's a little steep. For 30.
And that's on Sport Track. Now, whether that's true or not, let's see. Man,
I don't think they updated that because I think that was the start of free agency, the projection if he signed early. But the fact that he's 36, he's still sitting out there. Again, a lot of people are not going to invest long term with him, so it's going to be a 1-year deal. So you look at likely a fully guaranteed contract. So any round between $5 to $7 million to play right guard, I'm okay with it. And the guys we're targeting, ironically, to Vega, Pregnon, and a few others, they're all left guards. So that would be a great fit. So you plug him in right guard next to Biadasz and plug the rookie in left guard, and let's roll. I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
for the right money. $9 million is a little steep.
Yeah, there you go. I'd sign him for 9 with 7 guaranteed. Look, I think you need another guy that would be good. Now, again, the wide zone scheme that they run, I think he would do fairly well with it as well too. And again, it'd be interesting to see. I do think they're happy with what they have. I think they really are happy with the team they have, but I think they want some veteran people in the locker room also. That is very important. And this is probably another big point right here. Zion probably doesn't want to pay on the West Coast. A lot of taxes. A lot of money you're spending out here as well, too. Old Gavin Newsom is going to take care of you. You better pay the piper, baby, when you're out here in LA. So, so that'll be an interesting one. But Zeitler's one of the guys I wanted to talk about. Another guy that I think could be interesting as well, too. We'll see how this plays out. He's still available, I believe. So correct me if I'm wrong on this, is Bitonio. And I know Bitonio, guys, I'm seeing the number here on Sport Track. Man, that's crazy, dude. $15 million. Now they're saying 12.9. Woo! 34 years old, though. Really good player from Cleveland. Clearly, they're not going to re-sign him, but I think they're hoping for a comp pick, at least at Cleveland. We'll see how that plays out, but that's a lot of money to sign for a 34-year-old guard. Having said that, I think he's still a very good guard. So, Coach, what are your thoughts on Bitonio potentially coming to the Chargers?
Yeah, again, the converse to him, he's the left guard. So, Zeitler was the right guard, so I would prefer Zeitler over Bitonio, but Bitonio's a year younger. But again, I think that's why Zeitler and Bitonio are both still sitting out there because of the price tag. If they're holding pat to this market value, I don't think any team signing up for a guy that, in Zeitler's case has been off injured and Bitonio's coming from Cleveland, at 34 years old, at $12 million, it's a little rough.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money to a guy that's aging. So, and again, it's a reason why the Browns move off him. They really literally revamped their old line and got younger at every spot in one offseason. So there's a reason there. So I would love to know that reason. But if you can at the right number, I'm okay. But I'm definitely not spending $12 million on that.
Right. Yeah. I'm with you guys on that too. It's just like, I do like him a lot. I think it would be great for us to get him, but when the price is right, that's when we should pull the trigger on it, So I just worry about these older, because we've had so many problems with our offensive line getting injured in some way. I just would worry about we're spending out this money for like an older guy who's probably just going to get, half the season at best. So,
have they done an investigation? Is there a substation near the Bolt or SoFi? Is there a substation?
There is a train near. Yes.
Yeah, there's a train right there. Yeah, the train's there for sure. Yeah.
Affecting our injury room. So that might need to investigate that. But
right. Yeah,
it wouldn't bode well for your older guy. To Kyle's point, I agree. I would agree with him there.
Yeah. We all know there's something wrong with the LA water, though, too. That's
for sure. That's 100% for sure. But it'll be interesting. I think what's going to really boil down to these two guys is whether or not they want to play for the Chargers. Right? Do they want to come to the Chargers? Do they not? It's you can give them a bunch of money, right? Like look what the Raiders gave up for their players. A lot of guaranteed damn money, overpaid for everybody. I promise you, they weren't like, I want to play for the Raiders, right? One of the crappiest organizations, the worst team in the NFL last season, and somehow they're supposed to win the Super Bowl this next year with a rookie quarterback that they're going to draft in the first round. Come on, let's be realistic. So, it's right. Bitonio is from California as well, too. I remember that also. So there is some discussion that you might be able to bring him back. Maybe just say, hey, you're a depth piece. We want you behind, whomever, Penning or Cole Strange, however they want to rotate that out. So the reality is, I just kind of think they might say, well, you're a depth piece. You're probably only going to play a couple games this season. Will you take $5 million to sit on the bench? Okay, that sounds great to me. Why not, right? Have a good time. Mm-hmm. One more year. Who knows? Who knows how that plays out, right? But I think at some point, players can be convinced down the road, getting closer to season. Okay, I still got the itch. I'm excited. I want to play. I think there's going to be players like that available that we're going to continue having conversations with that we might just sign. This might be one of those guys. And, Zeitler might be one of those guys if they don't find a place anywhere. Because, look, they're still going to ask for a lot of money before the draft. And then after draft, the conversation becomes different, right? If you don't get the guy you want, you don't get what then you start going from there. So,
yeah, because people could be holding pat, thinking that after the draft, people might get desperate and want to pay the money that they want too. That could be a thing.
Exactly. Correct. So,
one fact is from Nevada. Nevada doesn't have any state tax. I just found that out.
That's true. Yep.
California to Nevada, there's no state tax. So that was a whole different conversation when you talk about money you get from the Raiders. I go to the Raiders where there's no state tax versus going to California where there's a lot of state tax.
100%. 100%. Yeah, we talked about that a few times. There was a statistic where Justin Herbert, I think, is paying. What is his? How much is Justin making this year? Guaranteed salary cap number is $46 million. Literally half of that's going to taxes. Well, not half completely, but
I think it was over half, actually.
Yeah, it's freaking ridiculous. Now you have to wonder. He's probably created an organization. Money's getting dumped in there, and then
things that kind of curb his cap hit. Yeah, I'm a tax hit. I should say. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyways, interesting to see how that plays out. And again, hey, thank you so much for saying this again. Like and subscribe, obviously moving forward. So this is where we get to the more interesting kind of conversations as well, too. I think a little more hypothetical, but I think could be, we'll see how this plays out, right? I saw these rumors this week. I was actually thinking about doing a couple shorts on it. Kind of forgot. Sorry, guys. But these are some other players we might want to go after. Jauan Jennings is the big name that I keep hearing everyone talk about. I don't know how I feel about this, but the one thing, well, actually, Coach, what are your thoughts on Jauan Jennings? Apparently, he's the hot rumor, physical beast, compliment Brad McConkey and Quentin Johnston. Who knows? Maybe they package Quentin, send him over to the Niners. We'll see what happens. What's your thoughts?
He's a complete free agent, so
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. I think it's somebody else. Yes,
you just got to pay him. You just got to pay him. And this is my plan B pick. If we don't get Keenan back, this is my plan B. Yeah, because I do believe we need a bona fide. And for the life of me, just from a physical standpoint, I don't understand how he does it. But Jauan just has the innate ability to get open. He's not super quick, super fast, not super shifty, not really, really great with a short area quickness, but he just knows how to get open. And his catch radius is amazing. And we all know Justin loves that. We're having Mike Williams for those years. Having a big body guy that he can just throw the ball up to and he knows he's going to come down with it. So I would argue that, depending on, again, what the money is, because there was rumors about him wanting $20 million a year, this, that, and the third. So that's a conversation. But depending on what he wants from a salary perspective will determine whether or not he wants to sign here. But again, another California guy, so he knows what the taxes are like. So it's not like he's foreign to that ideology. So I would say yes. I mean, if we don't bring Keenan back, because again, Keenan's not going to cost as much. I mean, we probably give him $5 million base and then give him a bunch of incentives to get him up to about $10 million. That's not dropping a bucket for a Charger legend. So I'm definitely not, leaving that conversation. So I think we need to bring him back. And of course, the synergy with Justin Herbert needs to be factored into that as well. But if they just don't want to, go and get it back into the Keenan Allen, maybe Mike McDaniel doesn't want to do it or whatever the case may be, then yes, I would do Jauan next up on the list. But we definitely need another receiver, a veteran guy that can get open against man coverage, because that was always our bugaboo. Playing the Texans, playing the Patriots, guys just lining up playing man coverage against us. Nobody can get open, and Justin Herbert ends up on his keister, 5 of the 6 times in the first half. That kind of thing. So,
yeah, Kyle, what are your thoughts on Jauan Jennings?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely seeing that report there too, that he's wanting $20 million a year.
Crazy, right?
Yes, it's nuts.
I got another guy that, anyways, after this as well too. Yeah. So continue.
Okay. But yeah, I'm just saying this, the wide receiver market is expensive. It's just as expensive, if not more than edge rushers. I don't know if it was more or whatever that, so, but I'm not 100% sure. But here's the thing. So we can pay $20 million for him, or we can pay $18 million for QJ. So what do you want to do? I don't think $20 million is that much out of the range for Jauan Jennings. I mean, he is a good blocking type of wide receiver as well. But yeah, he could put his hands up and stuff too. So it's does that fit Mike McDaniel's scheme? That's the biggest question still, to this day. Is this guy someone that did Mike McDaniel actually, that's a good question. Did he work with him in San Francisco before he went off to Miami? I can't remember.
Great question.
I think he did. I think he's 28. He's He's been 5 years in the league, so it would have been, I think, his last year. I'm not quite sure. In the chat, let us know. I think it would have been his last year potentially, so he might have been a rookie at that time.
Yeah.
So, but again, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, so I think if you get Juwan Jennings, you're probably not going to bring Keenan Allen back.
Yeah, or possibly not even QJ.
Yeah, so we'll have to see how that plays out. And then Debo. Yeah, Debo hasn't signed yet either.
Oh yeah.
Debo is $15 million. And that's a lot of money too, right? So you're like, oh geez, so I mean, these guys aren't cheap. But if they're talking to these, let's say they're talking to both people, they're gonna have to choose which one they want to go with, right? Do we want to spend $20 million on Juwan Jennings, or do we want to spend $15 million on Debo? And Mike McDaniel's gonna have to make that decision, right? I think that's really gonna be his decision as well, too.
Mike McDaniel's last year in 49ers was 2021.
Okay. So he's been in the league 5 years.
Yeah. Okay. So it looks like Juwan Jennings' stats that year were decent first year.
Yeah, in 2021. Yep.
Yeah,
so
21. Well, no, actually, he was not doing super much though.
Well, he was a rookie, I think, at that point.
Yeah, he was rookie.
Now, so that's an interesting one, and I thought about this a lot. I thought, well, do I like the idea of this? I don't know. Look, I'm a little. Again, we have $48 million to spend. Who we re-sign, who we add money to, but this guy could be a guy we could go after. So we'll see how it plays out. There's also something to be said about having too crowded of a locker room, right? So we already got 4 running backs that I think are pretty solid. Probably not going to draft a running back in any of these 5 picks, in my opinion. Yeah. So we'll have to see how that plays out. And then, do they feel comfortable? Again, do they feel comfortable with KLS? Do they think he's going to be ready to make the next step, right? Because if they feel good about the wide receivers that we have, we don't need a wide receiver. Why would we spend $20 million on a wide receiver? Would have made more sense to probably spend more money on a guard then at this point, right? Like, why didn't we ask for more money from one of these guards, right? So, and then right now, it says F at signing Jennings and Debo. So, yeah,
let's go.
Yeah. And again, this is a good point, right? Jennings mentally could hinder Ladd's growth. There is something to be said about that as well, too, because Ladd had a down year with Keenan Allen there. So, these are some of the tough decisions that have to be made as a GM and as a coaching staff. So, but guys, there's also injuries, right? If you don't want your players getting banged up, you're more and more struggling as the season progresses. I mean, luckily last season we didn't have too many problems with our wide receivers. We were relatively healthy.
The one room that didn't get banged up.
Yeah, it was crazy. They were like fine. And so, again, Trey Harris, I'm expecting big things from him. I think this guy's kind of a Trey Harris type of player as well, too. And I think Trey Harris is going to be a baller next season. So anyways, it is something to think about. It would say a lot if we do bring him in. But we'll see. Probably be a 1-year deal no matter what. And maybe he wants a multi-year deal. Who knows, right? So
yeah.
That's possible. Yeah.
So I actually do feel like Debo would 100% be the guy, because he went all pro the last year that McDaniel was coaching there in the Niners. 1,400 yards there, freaking crushed it, man. So that would be the move right there. If we're going to go for one of these guys, it's got to be Debo.
Yeah, and he'd be cheaper than Jennings. At least that's what they're projecting. Yeah. So exactly. We'll see.
And that's probably a 1-year deal. I think, like you said, I think Jennings, because he was a 7th-round pick, he's coming off his rookie deal. I think he would want a long-term deal for that one contract he's going to get as a pro. So that you have to factor that in. But Debo will likely be a 1-year. Him or Keenan will probably be a 1-year deal on the cheaper end than Juwan will want. Yeah.
Yep.
I think Juwan's going on multi-year, and I think that's the issue with him. And I don't think that they. Anyways, we'll have to see how that plays. We'll see how that plays out. But it's interesting to discuss, because I thought about him a lot, and I'm like, man, I like him a lot too. But man, that's a steep price tag. So another guy, this one is controversial. Curious what your thoughts are. And Stephon Diggs. And I don't know what I think about that as well too. Projected right now, people are saying 13 mil. Woo! And I don't know, Coach, what's your thoughts on Stephon? I believe he's still out there. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, he's still out there, rightfully so. Yeah, no thanks. I'm good. It's no.
Oh, no thanks.
No thanks. Not at all. Again,
nope.
Stop.
No, we're good. We're good. Okay, we're good on that one.
Emotional damage.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, hard
so
pass.
Kyle's a no on this one as well too.
Yep. Yeah, hard pass for sure. Yeah, I mean, honestly, he's a baller. He's a great player. I get it, whatever that, but he is not a locker room guy. He is a drama king. Freaking out there, wants the ball like all the time, and just like, he's not good for any team, whatever that. So I'm sorry, get out of here.
Yeah, and I think this is a great comment here by Gas Man. If we're going to sign an aging receiver, $13 million, I'd rather sign Keenan. I agree with that too because he knows Justin.
Yes, man. 100%.
Yeah. So I say this only because I saw him on a couple lists. I thought, well, I was like, we'll talk about it. It's controversial. Personally, I don't think so. Grandizer, crazy in the head, crazy in bed. Hey, what's up? Boy, there we go.
Yeah. Controversy. Can I throw one out there? Did y'all definitely have an interesting take on?
Yeah.
What about Tyreek Hill? Would you bring Tyreek Hill in?
Ooh, yeah,
man.
That's a hot topic for a lot of folks as well. Yeah.
Everyone talks about this one. Actually, this is a good point. Alex Silva, I'd rather have Debo over Diggs or Hill. I agree with that as well too, Alex Silva. In fact, I should have put Debo on this as well on this list. That was my bad. But I think Hill. The only reason why I would see Hill coming to the Chargers at all is because Mike McDaniel knows him.
Right.
Yeah.
But he is not a Harbaugh guy. Like I do not think Harbaugh wants to deal with him.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So that's my take. I don't know, Kyle. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, like I said, it's a similar situation with Stephon Diggs. You can't argue that Hill is very talented, and he's still one of the fastest players out there, especially in his age group. 100%, he's a top fast player out there. But he's not going to gel well with Harbaugh. It's just not going to work out well in that regard. So yeah, it's going to have to be a pass for me.
Yeah, that's a no for me, dog, too. And shout out to Randy Jackson. That's a no for me, dog.
That's a no. Randy Jackson. Every time I hear Randy Jackson, I always think about Step Brothers. It's a pretty recognizable signature.
Yes,
Randy Jackson from American Idol.
Yes, you're not going to get Randy Jackson's autograph.
Yeah.
So funny. Oh my gosh. I just saw the movie the other day, so it was the top of mind. But it's still one of the best movies. Okay. I think I have one more on this. This one's going to be another controversial person here, and then we get close to wrapping up the video. But how do we feel about this guy right here? He is a free agent. Kyle's upset.
I see him. Oh my goodness! What are you doing here, brother?
How are you feeling about this one, guys? Hey, Kyle, can you give us a drum roll?
Right, no, I'm going to give you this one.
Come on now, dog.
Come
on, man.
All right, guys. All right, this one's good here. Joey Big Balls Bosa, dude. Come on now. Come on now.
Check, please.
Check, please. AKA Raisin Bran. So how are we feeling about Bosa coming back?
How do I hang up this call real quick here?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not, Coach. Nope.
I'm good. Been there, done that. Threw away the shirt. I'm good. Thanks.
I thought this was a good one. Cal, you're big no.
What does he fit in the grand scheme of things? Like, you got your two, you got Tuli and Khalil on the edge starting. You got Calvin out you drafted, you're trying to develop, and you got Bud Dupree yet still. So where does he fit in that conversation?
Yeah, that's the question. So you'd want that third. So would he replace Odafe Owe, right, in that rotation? The thing is, he didn't even do it when he was with Mac and Tuli the years that he was there with him, anyways, right? Yeah. So the argument is like, I just saw a couple of people say, oh, he might come back. I'm like, man, I highly doubt he comes back with the Chargers. I mean, I just don't think it. I just don't think he ever wants to come back to the Chargers. Hell, he might even retire. But there weren't there rumors that he might end up going to the Niners for his last season.
Yeah,
play with his brother. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, and I just think that's where it's probably going to be. And this is what everyone's been talking about too. But it's just kind of a funny conversation. I thought, all right, everyone's going to enjoy this.
Nerd out from a football perspective. He's always been a 4-3 guy. He's never been a 34 guy, so he's been a mixed match and scheme fit since McDaniel got. Since Mr. got there. So I think now that makes more sense because they run a 4-3. I think that makes more sense for him to go there.
Sure. Yeah, and that makes perfect sense too. But yeah, the two Bosa brothers on the edge would be good. But interesting. Joey's mom wouldn't allow him to sign back here. Probably true. Probably true for sure. Right, I mean, look, like bottom line, I just thought that was kind of a funny one as well too. But no, I think look, it'll be interesting to see what happens, guys. We have I'll pull up over the cap real quick. Let's take a look at it.
I'll just say this about Joey though. I appreciate the guy for what he's done with us. He admittedly he had some freaking ball out years with us at the Chargers and stuff like that, but just as time went on, he just became more and more a liability, especially in the playoffs and stuff. And so it's just like, we just can't continue that. It's like, we cut him, we let him go for a reason. He was done. We were done. It was mutual decision, not going to come back,
Yeah, and I think part of it too is I remember he always had his own little workout routine where he'd go down to Florida with his brothers and his dad and all this and that. And I think maybe Harbaugh coming on board and saying, "Hey, you need to work with our staff," and maybe that kind of rubbed him wrong. And so I'm sure there's things that happened behind the scenes that made things a little bit different. But anyways, so there's a lot to be said about that. But let's just look at the over the cap real quick, and then we can wrap up. But again, it looks like we have $48 million available on over the cap. So, that's interesting. I mean, I'm curious to see how that plays out. Again, we're putting more money in offense. Big part of that is, of course, Justin Herbert right here. I mean,
$46 million cap number. Yeah.
Woo! Big money.
Now, Andy, if you could click over to 2027 real quick, let's give the Chargers fans something to look forward to.
Yeah.
$119 million even next year. So we're talking. We got the conversation of talking Tuli, Dayon, and Derwin. That number will play into their contracts. So we don't have to worry about this year's cap number, but that number is very lofty. We can definitely get those three guys signed with that cap space. So I'm loving that. I'm loving that.
Yeah, and so it'll be interesting to see what they do with him this year. Like I don't know what they're going to look, but look at what's crazy. Look at this offense, $116 million. Yeah. Now again, they're probably going to most likely restructure Herbert's contract.
As they should.
Yeah.
And then the defense is going to be signed. So the only reason why I bring those guys up specifically, they're probably going to look at them, maybe see if they can work something now, lock them in, get a little bit of this money, committed to those folks. But it's going to be big. It's going to be exciting. I mean, there's a lot of money right here. I mean, I think they're going to restructure that as well too. So they have plenty of money to play with. Again, we can argue all day how horrible this has been in free agency, but he's at least having money available to make the moves that you need to. And remember thinking about this year as well too. Last season, they had $30 million available going into the season. And then they went out and got Adolfo, and they gobbled up a lot of his contracts so he can come over. And he had a great season.
Yeah.
And Adolfo should be very thankful that he came to the Chargers. I mean, think about it. He had 0 sacks.
We got him paid.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I promise you they had a lot of conversations. Man, we want you back. Sorry, I'm getting $25 million. Okay, well, we're not going to pay you.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
So, So, anyways, a lot to be said about all that, too. And again, we can talk more about KLS and the rest of the team. I just think I think there's a lot of wide receivers that we have on this squad that are going to be good under McDaniel. So, I'll get my final thought. Well, actually, Coach, you're going to have our final thoughts. I'll get my final thoughts, pass to Kyle, and then you got Coach final word. And also tell people where they can see you as well, too, and follow you. So, look, I'll just say this. I think I understand the argument that these signings have been a little underwhelming. I do agree with you. They have not been splashy as we want, guys. And when we see this $48 million of available cap space, it kind of ticks people off. Like, what the hell? What are we doing with this money? Let's, but I think they are trying to be judicious about it as well, too, moving forward. I do still think there's going to be people that are going to sign. They're going to keep their eyes open, keep their eyes peeled. People get released. We're going to jump on people. I think about T.R. Tart when he was released by the Dolphins, right? He was immediately released. We signed him like a couple days later. We were all over him immediately. So I think when people are released from teams, those are people we could really go out and get it cheaper contracts. Another good example would be Tomlinson that we signed. Did not have a great season with the Cardinals, but I think under this regime, I think he will do very well with the Chargers. So, and he was definitely underperforming his contract that he signed with Arizona. So I think they're going to be judicious with this money, but I do think there is a splash player. We're going to go after maybe a guard, maybe a wide receiver. Who knows? We'll see how it plays out. But again, B+ is what I would still say we've given this team. Pass to you, Kyle. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. You know, I mean, like I said, as far as this free agency goes, like I was been on the fence with it, and I was thinking really highly of it for earlier, that there is a secret genius behind all this stuff, but it really feels like more and more that this is kind of becoming more of a flop case for me. Because that whole concept of, you know, constantly just kind of letting players walk and just kind of getting more comp pits here and there, like in that formula is just not vibing with me anymore. You know, like, I mean, we want to make sure that we're holding on to players and we're actually going out there and getting good contracts and stuff. So we can't just keep being like, okay, we need to sign like 12 more people this year because we're letting a bunch of people walk, and that's just not sustainable. You can't just keep re-signing new players because each year those contracts get higher and higher and higher. Hoflation is a thing. You know what I'm saying? So
hoflation.
That's right.
I just thought that was good to say.
Yes, I did.
Hoflation.
But you know, I mean, it's the end of the day. Like, I mean, I'm now downgrading it from that B- to now a solid C, because I admit he still did fill some holes. We got some good things here, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed, whatever that, about other things going on that we need to make sure that happens. So.
And we do have a question here from Grandizer, which for Coach Defense, who's Coach Defense pounding on the table for Chargers to draft day 2, day 3 range, his draft crush. If you did feel as if you want to answer that question.
Sure, not a problem. I mean, I do a lot of draft coverage, you know, between my personal Charters pod and the Lockdown Divas Sports Network, all the NFL content on that side. I'll give the socials in a minute, but I'll get this question first. There's a lot that I have my eyes on. I would argue, you know, everybody loves Vegas, and because he's freaking talented and so, you know, ungodly strong and dominant in the running game, especially, it's kind of hard to pass on him. But I also have my eyes on, from a guard perspective, if Vega goes high, because I kind of think he's going to get taken before 22. But if he does, he's there, you just hand the card in. But if he's not there, I would draft Emmanuel Pregnon from Oregon. He is more versatile. I mean, if you look at this guy work out, he doesn't have an ounce of fat on him. You know, very, very agile and more, I guess you can say, astute in the zone scheme that Mike McDaniel likes to run. He's more of a mover. So I would definitely have my eyes on Pregnon in the first round. He's kind of my O-line crush at this moment, for the Chargers especially. I would talk about King Mesidor early on in the pod. I talked about him glowing on my show. And he's definitely one of those guys that's plug and play. He can start day one. He's a really good run defender. You know, playing opposite of Ruben Bain in Miami. You know, he kind of got overshadowed a little bit. But when I tell you, you turn the tape on and just watch him in particular, he's a stud. I mean, I could argue that he's like almost like a different version of Khalil Mack in a sense. You know, for his power, his strength, and his ability to get to the pass, you know, from a pass perspective, get him to the quarterback. So, yeah, I would definitely say those two guys are my first-round crushes. Of course, you know, the sexy picks like, you know, Keon, Sadiq, and all those kind of things are glory picks. But, again, we have real issues to address in the interior O-line, so we got to do that first. That's definitely or a succession plan for Khalil Mack. Those are my guys for the first round. Day 2, day 3, especially in day 3, the Iowa guys. Iowa builds nothing but O-linemen in that program. Stevens. You know, for starters, him as a day 3 pick as a guard. I love his tape, and he shined in the combine as well. So he kind of got on people's radar then. So I think his draft stock kind of went up in that space. But I like Buse Stevens as a day 3 guy. I like Albert Regis as an interior D lineman as a depth piece to go along with our interiors, kind of even that room out. He's a really good run defender and an underrated pass rusher. Love him. I mean, I go on and on. I'm really a nerd when it comes down to draft coverage. So yeah, you know, be sure to be on the lookout for more videos from me as we get closer to the draft, because I'm going to do a lot of coverage in that space. As a matter of fact, this week, I'm going to do 2 mock drafts on my channel. I'm going to talk about who we should draft, and we should stick and pick where we're at, or a trade down conversation. If we trade out our first round pick and get more picks in the second, third, and fourth round, and maybe double up in those 3 rounds, we can get a lot of value and build this team from a rookie perspective. So yeah, I like that aspect of it. So I'm gonna do 2 videos this week in that space. So look out for that. But yeah, I mean, I go on, to the depths of 7th round who I might like, that I've done a lot of film and study on as well. So yeah. Those are just a few names, just to throw those guys out there. They're a good day 2, day 3 picks. Another one, Kalen Rutledge, another guard. Jalen Farmer. Jalen Farmer is another guy to kind of look at too as well. There could be an idea. And one final guy, the guy from Duke, he might actually get folded in the guard. He was a tackle he played tackle at Duke, but he might end up playing guard as well. I'm ranking on his name right now. But the Brian Parker, that's him. Brian Parker from Duke. He actually might play guard in the league. So yeah, I would say that if he's there in the 2nd round as a tackle, I would try to get him in and play guard for us, and we'd be good to go. So there you have it.
Love it.
That's awesome, Coach. Yeah, and where can everyone find you as well?
I am personally, for Chargers fans, I'm on Electric Shock Podcast Network. If you can see right above my name here, Electric Shock Pod, no K. So hit us up. All my social media handles and my YouTube is all that handle. So all you do is type that in. It'll bring you right to me. Like I said, hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. We're doing pretty good out there. We had about 250 on the subs in under 6 months. So we're gonna keep driving this thing. If we can get to 1,000 by the time the season starts, that's the goal. We're gonna try to get there. We'll keep pumping out good content. And of course, I myself and with my bros here, we're gonna try to keep the channels open in that space and do more content together. Hopefully, Lord willing. But that's there. And I'm also the curator of the Lockdown Diva Sports Network. That is all NFL content from top to bottom, all 32 teams. Myself and a few other guys are teaming up on that side to do NFL content. So if you type Lockdown Diva Sports Network in YouTube, it'll take you right there. And I'll give you all my social media stuff in that space as well. So if you're looking for all NFL content or Chargers only content, hit us up on the Electric Shock Podcast or the Lockdown Diva Sports Network.
Awesome.
Love it.
You're awesome, Coach. Thank you for hopping on, man. I really appreciate it. And guys, got plenty of content coming your direction this week. And pretty exciting. Like, again, at the end of the day, I still think this team is not done. They have money to spend. They will spend it.
Mm-hmm.
We just got to sit back and be patient and see what the plan is, right? And the draft is going to be interesting. So I'm curious to see how that plays out. But plenty of content coming your direction. As always, we're the Bolt Bros and Coach Defense. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Well, bros, let's go.
Let's go.
Hey, what's up? Cameron Dick here watching the Bolt Bros podcast. Let's go.
Charged up, Bolt Bros on the night. LA Thunder in electric delight. Bolts in the battle, sparking bright. Charged up, ride the lightning, feel the fright.